Please welcome on stage, Danny Day! I'm coming to Johannesburg now since 2011. Are you ready already?
Yeah, plug in. I don't actually have slides. Yeah, I don't actually have slides.
Okay,
this is
3, 2, 1, start!
I hate doing this. I'm going to tell you a thing about myself that many people will misunderstand and assume is a challenge or a target or a test. It's not. This is a deep part of who I am that I just tend to keep secret because it's easier. I am a martial artist. I have been ever since I was 6 years old, and I got really pissed off with a karate kid because it was dumb. I've done a whole range of styles and systems since then, and I am now 33 years old. That is a lot of punches. The hardest I've ever been hit was by a lady from a self-defense course who stopped my leg from working. I've also been hit by a bus. I say this only to provide context to my potential experience in this field, because martial arts is not what most people think it's actually about. So, I'm a martial artist, and I want to talk about fighting on the internet, because I do that a lot too. And that's not what people think it's about either. I cannot fucking stand how people think about arguments, be those online or in person. People are too afraid of conflict. Arguments are practice. Arguments are useful, and compliments are shit. Arguments are about losing, and arguments are about listening. Just like in martial arts, I don't care about winning, I care about losing. When I lose, I learn. When I get hit, when I get trapped, when I get choked out, I learn. I cannot learn from a compliment. A compliment can't show me what I'm doing wrong. So when I train, I hunt people that can beat me. I want to be bad, because that's how I can get better. When I argue online, I'm doing the same thing, trying to be better. Everyone thinks that internet arguments are about winning. Fuck that. Winning what? Martial arts are not about winning. The number of people who actually get to win a real-life fight is minuscule. Martial arts are about learning how to live every day without martial arts. And yes, in both fields, the starting points are these techniques that you need to be exposed to. In an argument, that's being able to spot rhetorical bullshit and deflection tricks, dealing with ad hominem attacks, handling arguments from authority, or defeating hasty generalizations. In training, that's learning how to punch, or stand, or breathe. Do you know how to breathe? Do you know how to relate? Do you know how to listen? So how do you argue better? Well, make sure there's a consequence. We all know about anonymity theory. Don't try to punch the wind. Anons without consequence are just trying to get you to react with anger. Breathe, and show them their consequences. Figure out the context. Don't argue until you understand where people are coming from. Only then can you find common ground. Even a disagreement requires common ground. You literally cannot argue if you're not talking about the same thing. And be okay with losing. Learning to apologize and acknowledge well-made points. Defeating your own weaknesses is far more important than appearing strong. So go fight people until you learn how to listen. Go fight people until you're okay with other people holding different opinions to you. Go fight people until you can learn how to define shared context. Fight. The best way to know someone is to fight them. So fight yourself. An online argument is not the end of the world. Argue until the shape of the world changes and you're having conversations instead.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you very much.
Like the really famous video of the guy getting his
Danny?
Question for you, because I've had an argument with you on the internet before. At what point does an argument become a waste of time for you, like in your experience? Like, I mean, do you feel at any point, listen, I could honestly be doing something more productive at this stage? When does that cutoff happen?
The only way that a fight ends is if someone doesn't punch back. So an argument stops being an argument when people aren't fighting anymore, and there are a couple of ways to have somebody not punch back. Either they're incapable or they choose not to. I've never thrown a punch outside of a training area, so I don't think that arguing online is ever really not productive, except for when the people who are trying to argue with you are not actually arguing. So when people are like freely exchanging ideas and trying to find out what the other person is actually saying, that's an argument that's worth having. Anything else is probably not actually an argument. Like Gamergate, people are not arguments. There is some kind of, there are sort of like rhetorical judo that you can do to move people around and get them to maybe change their perception, but you still have to find their context, and that takes a lot of time to go and find where they're coming from and who they are and why they're talking about these things. When people are throwing old debunked things at you, basically just to get a rise out of you, that's not an argument, that's baiting. So when it's no longer an argument, that's when you stop.
Woo! Yeah. Yes.